lovely, lovely game number 1 is upon us. And we're going to go over to this here. And it's game freaking 1, guys. Hippie versus tmanplays. And if you want to help these guys getting a bit more out of all of this, by having a bit more reward for them financially waiting if they play well in League Season 1, you can do so via Matcherino. You just have to go to the Matcherino page and click the claim code button in the top right to add 25 cents perfectly for free for you to the prize pool. You just have to click the code, 25 cents, get into the prize pool. If everyone does that, it's easily another $10 added to the prize pools. And if you then go in here and visit a couple of websites where you don't have to click anything, just have to visit them, you add a couple more cents, even more so, for free to this lovely, lovely prize pool. And if you want to contribute directly with some of your own money, that's obviously also welcome, as always. But yeah, the little free ones here are easy to do. So consider doing that. The link is in the chat, description down below. And let's get freaking ready, everyone. WARNO League is on us. And it's an absolutely amazing game 1 that we have on our hand here. tmanplays, a player from the Americas, in the top 20 on the leaderboard at the moment, against Hippie on the other side with KDA. Oh boy. And KDA has a lot of memes, and obviously Hippie is gonna meme. Like, there's nobody else out there that memes like Hippie. We already see Uats with Fagots on top. That's already an interesting start. Spetsnaz coming in as well. On the other side, we have tmanplays with a really standard division. 79th Guards Tank Corps. Pretty good division all around as well, if you get it forward. T-55s, Saperis, you have the MiG-31, best fighter in the game. You have ADUs, which are pretty nice heavy tanks. You get some solid infantry with the Saperi, RPOs and so on. But KDA obviously has a lot of T-55s to spam. Has the Spetsnaz early frontal rush, has great AA. And let's see what kind of memes Hippie brings in. The 57mm currently also really, really strong. So this will be a really intense game number 1 here. On our lovely map of Vertigo. I would like to know, guys, who do you think will win this one? Let's do a bit of a betting part as well as we get into this one. Let's get that set up. Who will win game number 1? Hippie or tmanplays? Both really high rank, and every loss you take here, a heavy blow to your chances of making it into the playoffs. A wooden box, and Phoenix, no pushovers either in this group, so a really tough group to get out of. Every map you get is important. We're playing best of 2s, so there can be a draw in a series. They will play 2 matches against each other in this week. And yeah, who will win? Hippie or tmanplays? Let's get that going. And there you go. Feel free to predict the way. Whilst Hippie is getting more and more memes here out onto the battlefield. Pioneers. Okay. Smoke plus Pioneers. TNT plays from Karma coming in here. Hippie has learned a bit there. Yeah, nice smoke plus TNT for the town, I guess. Is there any TNT on the other side? Yes, there are Saperis on the other side as well. So that can be countered here by tmanplays if tmanplays plays correctly. TO-55s can be nice with their flamethrowers as well. Though the OP Spetsnaz with their RPG-29 can be really, really nice there as well. Stopping any of these tanks with that RPG-29 from entering around the town. Will be a wild and aggressive early game, I would expect. This game might not last for too long, but let's see who will have the better hand. tmanplays, 39th. Really classic Redredka start. A lot of 55s here. Really like all the T-55s nearly. A couple of T-62s. One OSA. Question is, any planes on either side? Su-25s maybe? Su-25s could be nice, but OSA plus 57mm could even deal with that. Like, the 57mm are pretty nice. They even deal good amount of damage against armored planes, which... yeah, they might be a bit too efficient against airplanes at the moment. And we'll see how tmanplays can deal with it, especially as they are not radar guided, so you can't even use SEED or anything like that against it. As we go in here, into game number 1 of League Season 0, and there couldn't be a better match to start it off with. Really, really hyped. I hope you are as well. And Hippie comes in here. Aufklärers, Besnats. Yeah, a lot of cheap stuff in the rear. KDA Schützen, 4 Pioneers versus 3 Saperis on the other side. Saperis will try to get in here. Question is, where will the Spetsnaz OP go? Okay, they will unload back here, so they won't be able to interfere with any units coming in here. Su-17 with rockets out as well to stop any helicopters with its 30mm gun, I guess. And be useful against ground targets if necessary as well. 2 OSAs on the battlefield for tmanplays, so AA is pretty solid. And the helicopter is... the OSA is a pretty well-rounded AA, can deal with helicopters and with planes pretty well. Rajvetkas get into their positions. Spetsnaz not grabbing too much territory just yet. Like, this is a pretty conservative Spetsnaz unloading spot that Hippie went for here. So, tmanplays most likely will get into position. UWATs with ATGMs rolling in. Aufklärers actually going deeper than the Spetsnaz. But the Motostralkis and Saperis rolling in here. A lot of TO-55s with flamethrower coming in. MiG-31 and OSA already getting the first kill here. Su-17 gets killed out of the sky. And Saperis get hit by the Aufklärer here. Aufklärer with the RPG. Getting some nice hits on there. Motostralki getting their BTR-80 killed as well. Aufklärers stopping one of the Saperis, nearly fully killing that off already. So that's a bit painful here for tmanplays. TO-55s now also under fire by the Fagot ATGMs, which is pretty annoying here as well. They will have to find another way into this town, as the ATGMs are pushing them away. Usually not too effective against tanks, but T-55s relatively lightly armored, so can work there. Motostralkis here should be easily dealing with these SPWs, but Saperis outclassed here by the Spetsnaz on longer ranges. Can't use their TNT here, but the Spetsnaz can use their RPOs, so the infantry fight still not going too well for tmanplays over here. At the same time though, tmanplays with a T-80BV outplaying Hippie in the north. Only the Spetsnaz OP surviving here for now, so the northern flank might fall to tmanplays, and then we might have a split of the map with tmanplays taking these 3 zones and Hippie taking these 3 zones, and might go into a later game. We might go into a longer game if it comes to that. Fagot here trying to stop the T-55s. TO-55 getting both killed though. Good kills here for tmanplays. Fagot ATGM in the north also a bit overwhelmed. Only the Spetsnaz remaining here. Rajvetka coming in to scout for them though. They could get a couple of good RPG-29 shots that obviously would help, but no, they seem to have been spotted. Yes, Rajvetka getting line of sight on them. T-80BV already hitting them hard. At the same time in the south, Mi-24 gets beaten back by the 57mm. Su-25 rocket has to be careful around that as well, especially as there's an OSA and a Buk now in the rear. So no easy kill there. MiG-27 with ATGMs trying to come in the north. T-80BV popping the smoke in time though. Great reaction there by tmanplays. And a MiG-31 cleaning up. The best fighter in the game at the moment. MiG-27 bites the dust. But the setup of Hippie in the south is really efficient by now. Like, pushing through this will be a really tough nut for tmanplays. Might have to consider pushing through the north instead. As the northern zone now should be relatively secure for tmanplays for the near future. But question now is securing this, then trying to push on to Delta, or trying to contest Alpha further. But first CV out for tmanplays here. No CV on the side of Hippie just yet, so tmanplays will get a +3 for a while, most likely a +6 even for a bit. These +3 zones can get you points quite quickly. Get you a nice point advantage relatively quickly. Book getting a kill onto an SU-25. Really important kills here. SU-25s can be potent if they can come in for damage dealing, but Book obviously most efficient AAPs in the game, so air is hard to push through for either side. With the MiG-31s on one side, the Books on the other side, getting any attack aircraft through will be a really, really tough job. MiG-27 seat trying to come in, but even that has to be careful of the Book. Okay, seat missile will fly. Gets the Book. Hippie, not careful there. That is big for tmanplays. Getting a Book is a really nice kill. Second Book already on the way. But Osa, okay, that one will not get hit. Will get the kill onto the seatplane together with the 57mm. But getting a Book kill there, really, really nice. Meanwhile, at the same time, Hippie tries to get a bit of infantry up here in the top. T-55s got killed by the Spetsnaz OP. So that is nice for Hippie. tmanplays currently up on the +6, but one CV coming in at least for Hippie to reduce that to a +3. Next CV most likely will come in soon to make it a even situation. TO-55s down here, using their flamethrower against the Pioneers. Being pretty darn good in that job, dealing with infantry, but tmanplays most likely has to give up any ambitions for the southern zone for now. Most likely won't be able to contest Alpha for the upcoming minutes, and has to go for a longer game. Brings in Motostrelkis to secure this corner of the northern flag. Will most likely bring in a CV for the northern flag eventually as well, as Hippie brings in a CV for the southern flag. Oh no, actually going all the way to Alpha, that's not worthwhile, as the forward flags here bring less points than the rearward ones. So securing this one first would be more worthwhile. Huh? Why is there... Oh, Hippie must have messed up. Somehow brings 2 to the northern flag and none to this one. But most likely will be able to get that right eventually. Though gives tmanplays a couple more points. Motostrelkis plus BTRs on the push. Motorisierte Schützen and Spetsnaz holding the forest line here. Helicopters for Hippie now out. The Mi-24P with 10 ECM, good ATGMs, solid missiles as well, and a nice 30mm gun. A pretty potent helicopter, but Osa can kill it off quite quickly, even with its one armor, as Osa's missiles do 7 damage, so the Mi-24 has to be careful. Doesn't want to get hit by that. Whilst in the south, T-62s and TO-55s get pushed out, get killed off. So tmanplays needs to maybe even get a defensive lineup set up over here, so that Hippie can't get infantry too easily into this forest, as you don't want to get flanked out from over here by KDA. So still a pretty wild game. Osa gets one missile in, can't follow it up with a second one though, and Hippie hasn't figured out the mistake yet. The KDA Führer is in here now, but the southern zone still not captured. Once tmanplays now brings in a CV for the northern territory. T-80BV getting some ATGMs fired onto a SPW, but a lot of ATGMs coming in for the T-80BV at the same time. Most of them don't deal too much damage, but each of them will deal 1 damage at contact. So in the long run you still have to be careful of them. Osa, that a different story. That one will get a lot of damage no matter what ATGM it hits, as it has no armor to speak of. Me-2 helicopter coming in for the recon job here. Rajvetka keeping the KDA Schützen out of the town. Beating those. That's the 57mm. Get the recon helicopter. One of them gets killed off at the same time though. The Flak get beaten back. That's the Motostralki versus Mudschützen battle is going on over here. Hippie tries to infiltrate from the deep forest. Rajvetka though hasn't been spotted by Hippie. Gives really nice line of sight onto this sector for tmanplays. And now the big question is, will any of these two players start an artillery war? Or what is the idea to break this stalemate? How do you stop this from being a permanent, like, frontline World War I scenario situation now? What are the plays that we will see now? As tmanplays is had a good bit in points. Hippie now bringing in the SPW finally here. Will neutralize it, but still will lose if tmanplays stays at this advantage. Rajvetka over here firing at the UATs. Me-2 helicopter flying through the north. Mortars coming in for Hippie, but the 120mm mortars not dealing too much damage at the moment, especially as they're pretty inaccurate. And obviously also easy to dodge with the high trajectory. You need something like the Malka or the Guaditsas now to deal real damage here. SU-25 is out in the south again with 80 GMs, but there is a Bug once more. There's a OSA. There's actually two OSAs, and there's still one 57mm here. So the AA on the side of Hippie should still be good enough to deal with that. Bug will fire one missile. Will get some hits. Gets killed off, right? No, the OSA gets killed off. Okay. Bugs will get another shot off. MiG-27 has to disengage. And another kill onto Su-25. So, another big loss there in the air for tmanplays. But T-62's bully Spetsnaz. Spetsnaz, great against infantry, not so great against tanks. They can't defend themselves against armored vehicles. And yeah, the split, the somewhat vertical split here has occurred for the zone in the north. But the defenses here not looking super hard for tmanplays. Could use a couple more units around here. I would say tanks are nice, but some more recon, some more infantry here would be even nicer. But the T-62s continue flanking in the south. Conquerors trying to hit the T-80U. Won't do too much against it though. There's another Conquerors coming in. Against T-55 would be way more efficient. Yeah. Trying to hit these up now. Gets a really good hit. Routing one of them instantly. The second one though gets killed in transport. That leaves only this Conquerors at the moment firing. T-62s pushing through the forest as well. KDA Schützen not that great at dealing with tanks. They have pretty low accuracy on their RPGs. And the RPGs also not dealing an insane amount of damage. Plus having long reload, really not that great. Especially when you then also get pinned down so that the reload and the accuracy go even lower. So KDA Schützen not the unit you want to have fighting tanks in the forest. Me-24 here gets pushed back by the MGs as well. OSA gets killed off by the KDA actually. But the tanks of tmanplays now are pushing in. MiG-27 will be able to cut off one of them. MiG-31 this time not quick enough to get the kill beforehand. Gets it afterwards though. Once more MiG-31 being an absolute beast in the skies. Getting the MiG-27 killed off really efficiently there. It doesn't even have to fly into the AA network of Hippie to get it. KDU disengaging a bit, but the TO-55's coming in. And Hippie a bit out of anti-tank in the south right now. Spetsnaz OP coming in numbers now, but a lot of units have been killed off in the meantime. So really good play here from tmanplays here, finding a big weakness in Hippie's anti-tank defense line. Meanwhile, in the north, T-62's holding line against KDA Schützen as well. Yeah, KDA Schützen, great at tanking damage, pretty good in infantry fights, and they can help out with tanks, but you don't want them alone against armored vehicles. They are just not efficient in that role. T-80BV here nearly went down. Conquerors and Fagots worked hard on that, but the T-80BV will make it out alive. Will most likely get repaired up. Yes, you're already coming in for it. But the T-80U holds the line over here. Can tmanplays get a CV into the southern section now? That is the big question. Yes, Hippie, I think, reinforced in time to get enough in here to hold the line for now. So, will be still a tough job for tmanplays to do so. And SU-25 here gets hit once by a Buk. Takes a lot of damage. MiG-23 tries to come in, tries to finish off the job. MiG-27 and MiG-31s though coming in to defend their brethren. But this time Hippie was fast enough to turn off the Buk. And the MiG-27 not doing a great job here right now. OSAS and Buks can turn on in a second again. And then the MiG-31 might have a rough time here. Okay, MiG-31 doesn't get hit. MiG-27 trying to come in again, but Hippie still on top of it. Seat will get out alive though. Conquerors coming in here. TO-55 is able to hit one of them with its flamethrower though. Doing good amount of damage. Conquerors down to only one of them. There were 4 of them a second ago. T-80U still alive. T-62 here stays alive as well. Saperi are able to come in as well. T-62s from the south helping out too. And no tanks here for Hippie. No planes that can get through the MiG-31 screen. So a bit of a tough time dealing with these tanks now. This is a great play by tmanplays here lately in the south. And Hippie might have to think about the T-55 swarm. T-55's coming in the north now. And yes, that's where we go. T-55 swarm is the answer here. Yes, T-62s stand ready. But T-55 through the smoke currently really cost efficient. T-80BV will stand behind it. Motorstrelki will most likely clean off the Aufklärers here, where they can get too deep. KDA Schützen easily stunned down over here. Aufklärer not getting actually through the Motorstrelki. T-62 gets one T-55, but has to be careful right afterwards. Ooh, T-62 from over here gets another nice stun. 55's not hitting at all so far, but more smoke is coming in. Aufklärer trying to hit the OSA, gets killed off though. The T-80BV is repaired in the rear, and only 3 T-55s remain. That is not that many, especially not when the Motorstrelki is right behind them. Ooh, that Motorstrelki getting another one clapped. Yeah, didn't spot the Aufklärer, but it also didn't get spotted by the Aufklärers beforehand. So only one T-55. This T-55 rush off Hippie not working out at all. tmanplays was ready for that. And more KDA Schützen is what's coming in now, but as I said before, KDA Schützen really not that great against tanks, even in close range. As their RPG-7 has shitty accuracy and shitty damage, and shitty reload. So, not the perfect unit to have around here. T-62 will disengage. Smoke is clearing up. Hippie obviously can put more in there. Still, no bigger artillery guns on either side so far. Still, all frontline units. tmanplays has a CV now ready in place to get it into the south when the time is right. Doesn't deem it right just yet though. And Motorstrelki is taking the wrong path here. Get hit up by the Mi-24P. Tunguska is on the battlefield though. Another great AA piece here with 3000 meter range anti-helicopter missiles. It can be really, really deadly for all of these. And it's also pretty good against aircraft as well, as it fires its missile and instantly afterwards opens up with its guns. It's a great weapon system. And yeah, good amount of KDA Schützen here rolling in again. And now tmanplays is coming up with the CV. A lot of KDA Schützen now in the north. No smoke for them though. So the T-62s can just open up on them. And still all 3 T-62s alive. Spetsnaz OP trying to cross the open. Ooh, will that make it there? That could be a great unit for this. But it didn't stop and it gets killed off before it can get a shot off. Was aiming to shoot but didn't get the shot off. And this is pretty brutal for Hippie. At least gets the Mi-24P on the other side. But his own Mi-24 has to stay away from the Tunguska now. And the T-62s keep on bullying. A lot of T-62s rolling around. Hippie could counter with his own T-62s. Hasn't brought them in yet though. First Malka enters the battlefield right now. MiG-27 once more coming in with some seed. Gets another OSA there. Hippie not on top with the anti-seed play. Boog now gets turned off. MiG-27 has to turn home. Heavily damaged, but another AAPs bites the dust. Seed's really working out for tmanplays here. Whilst Hippie is now smoking to get his own CV into the northern section. And we have a stalemate once more. Nobody has to take, but tmanplays is up 845 points. 20 minutes nearly have been played. So we're at the halftime of this game number 1. Time limit in 20 minutes. And Hippie has to do some taking for that. Malka will try to wipe out the BRDM. That could work out. Let's see how far tmanplays is on direction about that. And what tmanplays counterplay to this will be as well. As the Malka can be absolutely brutal. Okay, quick reaction here. BRDM driving away really quickly. T-62s get supported by BMP-2s and Motostrelki. A lot of Mod Schützen and KDA Schützen here getting wiped out. A couple of T-55s trying to come in as a follow-up. Su-25 though, really great plane here. But there are some 57mm. Ooh, and the Su-25 is taking the wrong turn here. Going to the wrong neighborhood. Getting killed off here. BRDM a bit too far outside there. Hippie getting the first couple of points onto the battlefield. As at the same time, Hippie also cleaning house in the south. Kills off the CV down here. Malka is starting to do some action. CV gets in on the north again. But still a +2 for Hippie. Still a +2 for Hippie. But at the same time, gets infiltrated in the south. So Parries make it in here. Hippie might have overextended with this cleanup push that killed the CV. As there's nothing left in this town, and there's little anti-tank in the rear. Tunguska still around, so this Mi-24 can't do much. As the Tunguska is outranging it. And can push it away quite easily. T-62s still have no real counter here outside of the Spetsnaz OP. So as long as tmanplays is careful of that, Hippie will have a rough time. And Hippie also gets pushed out in the north. tmanplays currently in the lead, I would say. Not just when it comes to point, but also when it comes to units on the battlefield. Really nice cleanup work over here. CV off tmanplays gets sniped in the north. Malka starts to do its job. And some Motostrelki action might happen over here. Be ready for some sabotage. So, keeps the tick. But when it comes to units on the front line, you really have to see tmanplays ahead right now. BTR 60s trying their best to help the Superior RPO. But the Superior RPO really doesn't need help versus infantry in the south. T-62 over here. Shooting at the Mi-24. Gets the stun last second before the ATGM does come in. Quite lucky there, as both sides stun each other. T-62 in the north. Get some shots in onto some Mod Schützen. Another CV arrives for tmanplays in the south. One more coming in the north as well. Here's the Mi-24. Tries its best. Not using its ATGM for some reason. Okay, now an ATGM is flying. Trying to hit the C-62 over here. Will miss though. MiG-23 not really doing anything here either. Tunguska gets the kill together with MiG-31. MiG-31 also firing another missile, hitting another time against the Su-22 cluster over here, which will take this Su-22 a long time to repair. MiG-31, absolute beast. That's another Su-25 is coming in. There is still a Buk, and it still has missiles, so the Su-25 won't have a super easy time. But let's see what this Buk can do. Is it also might get spotted? No, won't get spotted just yet. A lot of T-55s coming in for Hippie as well. As the Su-25 is coming in, firing some ATGMs. Gets a kill. 62 at the meantime, trying to fire from over here. Buk does miss the first missile. Does miss the second missile. Third missile also going astray. Fourth missile coming in, gets the hit, but that's no missile left at the Buk. S-25 will return home for now. And tmanplays is bringing in this CV for the north. T-80BV still alive. The T-80s really MVPs here for tmanplays. Really great micro of them. Only 2 of them have entered the battlefield so far, but both of them have done a lot of work. Been pretty tough to kill for Hippie. T-62s here getting overwhelmed by ATGMs. Have to be careful. As the T-80U is hitting some Mudschützen over here. Infantry for tmanplays in the south looks pretty solid. T-55s try to move through it, but there's still some mod Strelkys in here. And their RPGs will deal a lot of damage to these T-55s. T-62s in the rear, pretty capable as well. So first T-55 already bites the dust. Motor Strelkys from the north coming around as well. Yes, that's too close for the T-55s really to have a comfortable fight here. T-62 gets a nice penetration in as well. Heavily stressing out the T-55 there. Getting the kill off afterwards. And Saperi Apio go down as well. And this might be the end of game number 1. As Hippie gets outflanked from the north. Is pushed out of the northern flank completely. The Malka so far not achieving too much. As we're 30 minutes away from the end, and tmanplays is nearly 1,000 points ahead at this stage. So a lot of ticks needed for Hippie, which at this stage basically needs a big breakthrough to be achieved. Mudschützen running below the Me-2 here. Will try to kill the enemy enemy CV. Malka is aiming on it, but obviously, yeah, tmanplays now realize the situation, so obviously we'll have an eye on this. So I don't think that will be sniped easily. Well, T-62 tries to get some kills with some ATGMs, but the northern setup here pretty solid by tmanplays as well. Malka getting its shots in now. But BRDM should survive there. And the BMP-2s here killing off the enemy in the south. There's little left here for Hippie in the south. And this was a great back and forth. Yeah, BRDM gets maneuvered out of the way. tmanplays showing why they are so high on the ladder. T-80BV finding the Mudschützen over here. Will stun them down before they can get the kill. Some airplane came around, but got killed off as well. And tmanplays continues to +2. 28 minutes already played. Hippie tries to desperately get some control in the south again, but there's just so much pushing in here. Rapira trying to salvage the situation. KDA Schützen coming in as well. T-80BV here in a nice spot though. Will most likely win the fight against the T-62 thanks to the autoloader. T-62 already starting with a low rate of fire. When getting stressed out, it dips even harder. KDA Führer here gets found by the T-62, will get killed off, and this means that tmanplays now is on a +4. And trying to revert that advantage is just going to be most likely impossible at this stage for Hippie. As there's little to play with in this game, number one. MiG-31s get the kill, and Hippie taps out. Game number one goes to tmanplays in really nice fashion. Hippie, with a good early game in the south, with some nice ideas in the north, but not the perfect execution on those T-55 pushes, and tmanplays really always quick on the reaction, dodging artillery, getting AA in when necessary, and having a pretty good placement on their T-62s as well. So really, really good game number one here. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. As tmanplays is up 1-0. We're in game number 2. Hippie now coming from the other side. tmanplays on the right side. As we have Hippie with 4th Mudschützen. tmanplays with KDA Bezirk Erfurt this time. So a lot of East German power coming in here now. A lot of forward deployment as well. Spetsnaz versus Fallschirmjäger with Medis. A lot of T-55s most likely to fight over this one as well. So that should be a hot one. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Really looking forward to this. But first, gotta do some 20 push-ups, whilst you guys can add some prize money to Matcherino. Just exclamation mark Matcherino on the chat. I'm gonna do that part for you. Just gotta click onto the link and click on the claim code button up here to add 25 cents to the prize pool, getting us closer to the first stretch goal. And 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. So, yeah. Here we go. On the left side. Hippie bringing in Mi-8s with rockets. Bringing in, cheap Mi-24s. That you're now getting good numbers. The one of the big buffs. 2/4 in the latest patch. You get those Mi-24s now in pairs of 2s. For a helicopter with 1 armor, that's really, really nice. They don't have any ECM, but they really don't need it for this cheap price. You get rockets, you get AA rockets that are totally trash, but they are AA rockets, so they can be helpful, making the difference. And 2 of them still kill a small helicopter. Like by far the worst AA missiles in the game. Bad range, bad accuracy, and 3 damage. But they do the job. Whilst up here, the Fallschirmjägers will do a lot of work as well. So, interesting super all-in start this time. Schildgas coming in the rear. For some AA work. Whilst on the other side, we have some more UWATs with ATGMs. We have Books as well. T-55As in good amount of numbers as well. And yeah, 8 Fallschirmjägers. Some with Medis, some with only RPGs. Versus 2 Spetsnaz OP, no, 3 Spetsnaz OP, and 2 normal Spetsnaz. A couple of Aufklärers behind it. Interesting to see Aufklärers here. But I guess, yeah, you want the recon, so makes sense. And then, yeah, T-55s behind it for the tank push here. Thanks for the follow, the big East cheese. Much appreciated. Welcome to the channel. Hope you all having a great time. As game number 1 was amazing. Really nice back and forth. And yep, at the moment, T55's really strong. Like T55's, AMX-10s, and then everything with like that's cheap and has a heavy MG on top. All a bit, like those are the 3 things I would say at the moment that are a bit game breaking. But yeah, as they are well spread out, like Americans have a lot of things with a 50 cal on top. The French have the AMX-10s, and then the East Germans have the T55s. The meta is still has still a pretty solid variety already, and once Eugen is cracking on those things, I would say the balance really will start to fall into place. Still far away from a perfect balance. Like, that won't happen within the next year, most likely. As RTS always take a bit of a while to get into a really nice place. Age of Empires 4 is still on the search for it, but getting pretty close by now, as well, for example. Now 1 year after launch. But yeah, it's pretty solid for an early access game. And I'm really interested to see who will get the better out of the early engagements here now. The Mi-24s rushing in against the Spetsnaz. The AA vehicle of tmanplays is pretty far back. No planes coming in. On the other side, Su-22 with seat coming in to counter the enemy helicopter. So, nice run there by Hippie. Books from the rear coming in. Not getting the kill though. And the helicopters are bullying the Spetsnaz over here. Spetsnaz will not stand a chance in this fight. So this is a strong start now for Hippie. MiG-21s trying to come in with bombing runs. One hitting the building with the Fallschirmjägers. This is obviously really good. Helicopter is still alive though. MiG-21's not good enough to killing them. And the KDA shots here in trouble as well. T-55's coming up. AAP's coming up as well. A couple of outflares are in the rear as well. MiG-21 coming in with another bombing run. Getting another kill as the Shilkas only coming in right now. Not dealing a lot of damage there. So what looked really nice for Hippie at the beginning is starting to turn into a stalemate once more. As the MiG-21s really did a good job here for tmanplays. Cleaning out the early game advantage. Shilka not there in time. And the Books are getting into place now. Down in the south, I would once more say tmanplays in the advantage, but not pushing it this time. But more and more MiG-21s coming in though. As there's just no counter for them in place, and they're abusing the situation here hardcore. Shilka will do some damage, so at least the reload won't be super quick, but 2 Shilkas not really good enough to get the kill. 2 Pyryusas, maybe? Shilka's just not that dangerous at the moment when it comes to killing planes. So, Hippie will need something else for that. As I said, damaging the MiG-21s at least gives Hippie time to get that set up. As that means that the MiG-21s will be out for a couple of minutes. But when they come around again, Hippie better is ready. Or those MiG-21s will just bully Hippie into oblivion. Another set of runs like this and Hippie is out of this game most likely. Gets 2 CVs this time around as the first one. MiG-21 coming in himself. Fallschirmjäger getting caught out in the open. Getting killed off. And yeah, this is something Hippie can't allow to go on for much longer. Panzerjägers coming in. No AA on the side of Hippie. This is not great. 6 MiG-21s here really doing the damage for tmanplays. Aufklärers moving in forward. Fallschirmjägers in position. A lot of aggression here coming out in from our player in red in this East German civil war. Conquerors rolling in as well. And Hippie gets the +6 at the moment. But the question is, can Hippie hold the center? For now, tmanplays is not pushing it, which is nice for Hippie. But I would say KDA has the better long game with the Moltke, with the better AA, with maybe even the better air. And A lot of really nice, cheap spam infantry. Like, mod Schützen are not that bad, but the medium machine guns at the moment are not the most important thing. And KDA Schützen at the moment with their numbers and their cheap price can for sure push them off the battlefield. Both sides have a lot of T-55s put to the battlefield, so we'll see who can win the tank fights there. But I'm surprised. Okay, there is more AA for Hippie, but that's still only Sterlas. That's still not great AA. So what happens when the MiG-21s come around once more? For round number 2. T-55s here, pushing in. KDA Schützen under heavy fire. T-55A will lose against the AM-2Bs. As the AM-2Bs have better accuracy, better range, and better armor. So the T-55A has to be careful here. Doesn't want to fight these. KDA Schützen getting bullied. MiG-21s though, coming in with bombing runs. Get the Aufklärer. Get it hit on the T-55s. This time though, the Shilkas are ready in the right spot. And the Mi-24s actually helped out. One of the missiles did hit in a MiG-21, dealing some damage, putting in the finishing blow there. So Hippie getting a kill on 2 MiG-21s, important kills there. MiG-29 also ready in the rear. Solid fighter, pretty cost efficient. It's gonna be team and place job this time to catch up when it comes to the point advantage. Hippie up to 570 points. No more CVs coming in currently. Oh no, there we go. Hippie bringing in another CV. Team and place has one in the north. Will give team and place a +2. That's 80 points per minute. So 6 minutes of this to catch up here to Hippie. Or rather, 7 or 8 minutes. Another UWATS coming in the south. T-55As rolling in the numbers. Couple more T-55 AMs on the side of Hippie. Counter the play over here. So, yeah, pretty slow game right now. After an explosive start, both sides have to get back. Have to set up another move. Question is, who will bring in the next big aggression? It seems to be team in place in the south, with a couple of T-55s coming in, MiG-21s trying to open up the path, getting an Aufklärer, Besnat's OP securing the center of the zone, CV coming in here as well, Mi-24P on the side of Hippie coming onto the battlefield with some good ATGMs, another CV coming in for the north as well. But no AA for the south. And also no tanks or anything for the south right now. So the air and tanks here for team in place most likely will be able to overwhelm Hippie's defenses in the south. But Hippie still has an advantage in the north. Shilkas once more coming in to kill the MiG-21. So the MiG-21s are bleeding out right now. That is really good for Hippie. Getting rid of those nasty bombers. Getting rid of some T-55s as well. Getting another shot off here first. KDA's on fire as well. So yeah, Hippie on the way to winning the north. But at the same time, the south is looking pretty bad for Hippie here. Even place coming in with a lot of power here. Books also should be able to kill the MiG-21. Yes, MiG-21 gets overwhelmed there. Though the Mi-24 in the north kills off the enemy CV. Hippie coming in with one there on his own. So MiG-21, 29 loss, yeah, is annoying, but the northern zone capture is nice. And the Mi-24 is trying to get into the south, helping out against all the T-55s. Book's not in position to counter that. And the 57mm, only one on the battlefield so far. So that could actually work out, as the T-55s also lack any sort of smoke, so they can't dodge the ATGMs of the Mi-24 easily. Missiles coming out here of the Mi-24P. Spetsnaz OP also getting hit hard. CV for now getting out of there. Mi-24P also flying a bit too deep there maybe. Getting hit by all the 50 cults. Might die to them. Oh yeah, actually goes down. Hippie a bit overly aggressive there with the helicopter. Big loss. Completely unnecessary as well. Could have used the ATGMs from the far away. Killing off the T-55s. So, big misplay there for Hippie. Losing that Mi-24 is not what you want to have happen right now. That could have on its own stopped the push in the south. Instead, it's going down without getting any kills. So, Hippie now has to bring in more forces in the south. Conquerors on the way. Rather unload it into this instead of the bush over here. Might even get too close to these T-55s already. As both sides now have one zone again. Shilka trying to get into a spot where it can deal with the Mi-24. But has to be careful of the KDA. KDA getting the kill there. One Shilka down. Highly annoying for Hippie. A couple of unnecessary losses lately. As tmanplays is getting the upper hand in the north again. Mi-24 got the kill on some T-55s as well. Hippie a bit sloppy here right now. And really showing that Hippie's not the fan of long games at all. As concentration and multitasking there is often a bit slipping. As we see it right now. T-55-8 here. Doesn't get hit by the Conquerors. Will get one of the Conquerors crew killed off though. Will get another shot off. Conquerors gets killed there. Hippie with really, really terrible trades lately. CV has to evacuate even further. Strela will get killed off. And tmanplays gets full control over this tree line. Another thing that you don't want to lose on this map. Yes. It's a great staging ground for further assaults into this zone. And completely can zone you out of the center of the map. Especially if an ATGM team can get in here. That even can cut off the road over here in the north. Mi-24 tries to come around. This one doesn't have any ATGMs though. Su-22 seed plane coming around, but Book actually outranges it. Gets a nice hit in. Second one gets a hit in as well. Su-22 gets killed off. And yeah, that's the power of the Book. Even outranging some of the seed in the game. And that's quite brutal here. Hippie at least having an outclever on the map here. But still pushed out of the zone in the south. And now tmanplays coming in with the numbers in the north as well. A lot of T-55s to push through here. Motschützen sitting in the north as well. Mortar trying to come in to help out in the south. T-55 Ace and T-55 AM2Bs trying to set a push through here. But they need some recon for that. They currently just don't see anything here. Spetsnaz OP and the enemy ATGMs and T-55s most likely will be able to stop this. KDA Schützen rolling in here now as well. And the northern situation is not great either. Only really few units remaining here for Hippie. Whilst on the other side there's a great combined arms. Motschützen in front of T-62s, T-55s, some helicopters in the air. AA is decent as well. Couple of SPW 152s coming in as well. T-55 AM2s trying to use the ATGMs. Get a hit in onto the T-55 down here. But MiG-27 ATGM coming in. Getting a good amount of kills as well. Will die to the MiG-29 at the same time. But Book might be able to retaliate here. Gets a hit in. Can't follow it up. But the MiG-29 will be out of business for a good while. And that's still pretty annoying. As tmanplays continues to +2 here. Catching up to Hippie relatively quickly right now. And the northern situation is really dicey here as well for Hippie. T-55A for tmanplays gets the kill. A lot of KDA Schützen coming in. A lot of them will move forward. T-55 AM2s coming in here as well. That's the mod of terror here. Will get killed off. KDA moving forward. AM2 moving in here as well. 55A. Dealing with the KDA Schützen. Getting stunned down. Me-24D. Trying to kill them off. So Hippie at least will have some success in the south. T-55 here are enough to push through, but more reinforcements coming in for tmanplays here. Whilst in the north, the push through is real. A couple more T-55s here for Hippie. Try to salvage the situation, but they have little in front of them. Shilka at least might be able to get rid of the Me-24 here. Seems to be the case, yeah. So killing off the helicopter. Nice strike there. Well, the SPW is getting some lines of sight onto the enemy. CV here. Can't kill it off, but will scout for it. More helicopters coming in. A Me-8 with rockets. In the south. Hippie a bit overextending. Doesn't have any recon here to help out spotting for the T-55, so they get killed off by ATGMs without seeing where they come from, without being able to retaliate. Loses a bit too many units once more. And tmanplays once more. Oh, this is so nasty. MiG-21s can come in without anything opposing them once more. Still 3 of them should be remaining. 3 went down to the Shilkas in the north, but the Shilka in the north is dead now as well. So no AA on the battlefield for Hippie whatsoever. The MiG-29 got killed off by the Books. So this is a really tough place to be in for Hippie. tmanplays close to getting on par with Hippie when it comes to points. So that advantage will be gone soon as well. T-55 still rolling in a number, but nothing to spot for them. No recon whatsoever on the front line right now for Hippie. Completely blind, whilst there's still a good amount of Aufklärers on the other side. MiG-21s with bombs coming in now in good numbers. SPW here most likely will die. And that means that tmanplays now will control both center zones. No CV around for them. No AA to stop the MiG-29s in the future, 21s in the future. No recon. Yeah, this setup for Hippie is pretty desolate. And I don't see how Hippie can come back from this situation. Bombing run number 2 for tmanplays. T-55 here will go down most likely. We'll get another shot off. Will miss though, but can't really push in with this. And more T-55s and T-62s now rolling in for tmanplays. T-62 M1s coming in here. +4 now means that tmanplays already got ahead of Hippie when it comes to points. Couple of cubes coming in now as AA. Strella joining them as well, but this might already be too late. And still no recon. Okay, some Me-2 helicopters coming in. Oh, cluster bomber on the other side though. Gets a good hit. T-55's dropping hard. And this is over. Hippie is most likely out of this game number 2 as well. As the +4 is really, really tough. A comeback at this stage would be phenomenal, but I just can't see it happening. Books are set up. T-62s are out here in bigger number than T-55, and Hippie throws the towel as well. GGVP, tmanplays wins the first series of the WARNO League Season 0, and well played. Really good games here on Vertigo. This was a really fun series. Well played here. Getting Hippie rushes under control both times. tmanplays showing a lot of skill in dismantling our British player, our British East lover. So well played here to Mr. tmanplays. And 1-0 for yeah, 2-0 for tmanplays here, getting 4 score points. And a good step towards the playoffs in this pretty tough Group A. Phoenix and a Wooden Box, the other 2 players in this group. So, a lot of known names. tmanplays was the unknown in this one actually. But really high player on ranked and showing why that is the case in this series. So, yeah. Great series here. Great first series. So yeah, GGVP. Ah, that actually was more exhausting than I thought for my voice. KD wise, yeah, the T55 AM2s worked out well, but bombing runs were just so brutal, destroying the early setup here of Hippie, and then Hippie just didn't bring in any recon and ran into a lot of traps multiple times and got himself pushed out there. And then T55 versus T55 fights started to go tmanplays ways because tmanplay got the first shot. And that's super important in this game, where lethality is so high. If you have the eyes on the enemy, and the enemy doesn't aim at you, and you get the first shot, and you can penetrate the enemy, deal a lot of damage, stress them out so that their reaction is even weaker, you get a lot of kills. And yeah, in the end, good enough for 2-0. So Hippie has to step it up to make it out of the group. Basically, nearly already on the point where you need 2 victories here now. At least a victory and a draw. Only 1 more map loss allowed, if at all. So, a lot of pressure on our British player here, on our British meme lord. Already after this first series. The WARNO League Season 0 already starting to write its history. Really looking forward to the rest of the week, to all the series coming up here. A lot of good games, both in Division 1 and Division 2. Really interested to see how well our favorites in Division 2 do, how Graham will perform against Matrine, and how Fantix will perform versus Swift. Genra in Group B versus one of many mics. And then in Group A, I actually don't know who's the favorite there. Would get say Sword of the Saint or Shvettes Heiling. Attack power, we'll see how well our content creators are in shape at the moment for WARNO. I know attack power, Hobotango have practiced quite a bit. Vulcan, not so much, but Vulcan has played more than them in general. Has played a lot of WARNO so far. The question is, will Vulcan be able to adapt to the 1v1 meta in time? Or will he go down to people with maybe more experience in 1v1? That we will all see in this week and the upcoming 2 when it comes to the group stage. So, yeah, should be quite exciting. Should be really exciting. And once more, if you want to support all of this monetarily without having to pay anything yourself, you can go to the Matcherino and click this lovely claim code button up on the top to add 20 cents to the prize pool for free. And yep, it will get added to the prize pool. We're already above the $100 mark at day 1, which is really nice. Going in towards the first milestone. Thanks to Phoenix and Tuken for already coming in with some bigger contributions as well. And yeah, this is really nice. Coming together here. Coming together nicely. Really hyped for what we will see. And really interested to see if anyone can stop Karma. That's the big storyline, I think, that will be going on. Is Karma stoppable? Or will Karma just run through Division 1 non-stop? Like, that's the big storyline for Division 1. Group stage will be tough. Maybe Sotek can take a map, I would say, in this group. I don't know how good Jasp is in shape. Jasp, good player, but don't think super great in shape at the moment. And Phoenix got a lot better lately, but still, Tama is a big upstep battle. I think when there are some people that can stop Karma, then it might be Lathans and Ski, and maybe Puri Tanner, but only on a really good day. Like, Tanner has strategies, but not quite the mechanics. And Hippie can maybe take a map of Karma with some super off meta builds, but first of all, Hippie has to survive now. And then it also won't be good enough to take a series. Like Hippie might make Karma plead, but not more than that. Those are the people I think that can do it. Yeah, tmanplays looking great as well. So we'll see what we will see from tmanplays in the future. Looked pretty strong here in this first series. And yep, this is coming around nicely. That said, I don't think we have any other series so far, so I will end the stream here for today. Or yeah, you know, I don't think we so we will come around. Derek dropped out of WARNO for now, or most likely forever. Burned out a bit on the game. Yeah, and went down in a flame. So yeah, don't think we will see Derek in the near future in any of these. He went back to playing PUBG, and yeah, we'll see. But Derek not gonna be in season 0 for sure, and I don't know if we will ever see him back. And yeah, so other players have to step up to get into the spotlight. Karma for sure. It was better than Derek as well though. So Karma, even with Derek around, Karma would still be the one to beat. But yeah, it's a shame that how it went with Derek, but it is what it is. We will still have a lot of high quality players here, and more high quality players to come for sure in the future. WARNO is just at the beginning of a life cycle, and so is WARNO League. A lot of seasons to come, guys. We already have 9 in Steel Division. Let's beat that in WARNO. So, yep. Hope to see you all in the next one. We will be back tomorrow night with hopefully more WARNO League. As, yep, there's a lot of stuff to cover. Friday, we will have a new game. Sunday, we will have the beginning of Steel Division League, as that is still around. And yeah, big shout out to you, Vulcan, as Vulcan just made a big announcement for really big Steel Division tournament coming up that I will help out on the back end as well. So yeah, a lot of good things to come in Eugen Games, and I hope to see you all there. With that said, let's rate some Coma Card TV and have some fun over there. Thanks for watching, thanks for the follows, thanks for the push-ups, and thanks for the support for the tournament. Thanks for the support for the channel. See you all next time. Bye bye.